All right, welcome to the third edition of our common mistakes that intermediate investors make. We've covered a lot of topic so far in this series. Specifically in the intermediate series, we started by discussing starting a business versus growing a team. If you haven't had a chance to watch that, you're going to want to back up and make sure that you catch that one. The second part of this series, we talked about spending money on marketing your business, not becoming a one-trick pony, and really taking the time on your tax, legal, and insurance. I got three more, I think, really valuable mistakes that you're going to want to avoid, common mistakes that I made and that I watched others make over and over again to cover in this final segment. And the first one has to do with systems. There's some great books out there like E-Myth Revisited that talks about the importance of systems. One of my favorite examples of systems is McDonald's. And if you think about McDonald's for a second, this is $1 billion company all around the world. And, I don't think there's anybody that dislikes McDonald's fries. You may not like their food, but they got it going on with their fries and their breakfast. But you think about the fries for a minute. McDonald's has such tight systems that, first of all, they don't have one piece of equipment to cook their food that isn't custom made for McDonald's as part of their food assembly systems. And you can go to any McDonald's in the world, it can be Russia, Argentina, LA, and get the same quality of fry, get the same experience. And this is a company that's run by minimum wage employees, and a $1 billion company that's run by minimum wage employees, because McDonald's systems don't assume that you know how to cook, make fries, salt fries, that you even know what French fries are. They don't assume that you know anything, and they've broken everything down into very, very little parts that are easily repeatable. So somebody can come in, and in 20 minutes, they can teach you the McDonald's way of making fries, because that's how tight their systems are. And your business, your successful business, when you first start out, it's just going to be you. You're the focal point of it. But if you ever want to grow your business, then you need to develop an emphasis on systems, because great businesses are just a series of systems all collaborated together, that all work together. And so, in our real estate business, we have systems for screening tenants, we have systems for creating budgets, we have systems for handling people that don't pay the rent, we have systems for evaluating good flips, and systems that we use to evaluate good trailer park deals. And everything we do, first it becomes an idea for the business, then it evolves into something that we can make money at. And then the third thing we do is we immediately start to create systems around it so that it can be taught to other people, and that there can be a consistency, no matter if it's at one of our operations in Idaho or Kansas City or Charlotte. And so once you're making some money and you're at this intermediate level, you need to start thinking about what systems you can implement, because systems are what you can turn over to employees. Systems get work off your plate. Systems are how you graduate to working on your business and not in your business. And so systems become the critical thing for you to be thinking about right now. What can you systemize and create standard operating procedure for in your business? So the next mistake is that I see business owners get trapped working in their company, and they're not spending the time on working on what's not working. And so there's another really good book called Good to Great, and it talks about how great companies versus good companies. And great companies, they're not afraid to go into the corners of their business and sweep out all the mothballs and confront them. And the best businesses are focused on what they are currently the worst at. What do we suck at the most? Do we need to eliminate it, or how do we fix it? And the best leaders of businesses are focusing their time on that bottom 20%. So, as I have operations in all these different markets, but I'm spending the majority of my time on the things that are broken or not working or working the worst. I'm not spending my time on the things that are making the most money for me because I've systemized those and offloaded those to other people. So yeah, I like going to auctions and I like to, to work with my successful teams, but that's not helping my business. You as the entrepreneur need to be plugging the holes in the sieve. You need to be catching the mistakes, closing those off, and allowing the business to move forward. And so if you're still working in the company as one of the employees that makes money, in my case, if I'm still spending all of my time finding deals and not fixing what's not working, then slowly my business is eating itself. It's decaying. It's falling apart. And so you don't want to get trapped. It's tough because when you started your business, it was all you, right? And you were the one that was driving everything. But now that you're at this intermediate level, you don't want to stay there. You don't want to be the most important person. I watched for years as our biggest operations out in Indianapolis, and we've been in Indianapolis for, this is our 17th year. And there's people that have come in and been hired that haven't worked with me and weren't there at the beginning when it all started out of one side of a little duplex. And now it's this big operation with corporate offices. And that's a good thing that they don't work with me, because if I was spending all of my time in Indianapolis, I never would have grown a Charlotte, a Kansas City, and Idaho. I never would have grown into those other markets. And if you have the aspiration to get bigger, then you need to get yourself out of that, and not only get yourself out of your business, but then spend your time on a good chunk of your time on either growing the business or fixing what isn't working, because that's where the application of systems comes in. Because how do we clean this mess up and systemize it so it doesn't cause a problem for us again going forward? The final rookie mistake that I want to cover today is I watch people build their business because they valued education, they valued personal development, they valued growth. And when they get some success, or when they get to the intermediate phase, they think they're too busy for that. And I'll never forget reading Warren Buffett's biography. And this is a man who's now worth over $100 billion. And it said that he gets into the office and spends the first 4 to 6 hours of his day reading and researching and studying. And I was so fascinated by that, because it's that important for his decision-making in buying businesses, which makes sense. But he does that, he front loads that first. And, maybe some of you have been to seminars. Maybe you attended a personal development, Tony Robbins type event. Or maybe you're, really actively involved with church, and that's allowed you personal development opportunities. But I watch people abandon that because they say, well, I'm too busy now. I have my family. I have my business that I'm running. I don't have time for personal development. I don't have time to keep reading books. I don't have time to go to seminars. I don't have time to have a tribe of people that I work with. That's a mistake. That's a mistake, because you will become stale. You will become, you'll lose perspective on what, on your ability to drive creativity and drive an organization forward. And so, when my dad passed away in 2005, I was pretty heavy and I had neglected my personal health. And I said, I just have to work out first every day. I can't let, I hate working out, but I need to work out because I don't want to let my health go like my dad did. And so I said, I just have to make that priority first. And so I do. I work out at least 5 days a week, usually 6, for about an hour and a half. And I do that first. Sometimes that means I have to get up really early. But if something is that important to you, then you have to front load it into your life. And you have to make sure that it gets done first, because days can fall apart as you get towards the end of the day. Things don't get completed, and you don't want to let something like research, learning, and personal development get left by the wayside because you're actually making some money right now. So keep that focus. You want to have a mindset of lifelong student, lifelong learner, always open to change. And the people that I know that do that are some of the most successful people that I know. And so hopefully this intermediate series has been valuable to you, just like the beginner series. In the next couple weeks, we're going to put together an advanced series. I have some ideas for those of some very advanced kind of topics that we've been thinking about. But definitely wanted to get these beginner and intermediate because I know most of you are in one of those two spots, probably 90%. And so thank you for joining us. Keep subscribing, keep coming back as we continue to create new content on an ongoing basis. Thanks.